you wake up already carrying something heavy, not a physical weight, but a quiet pressure that lives in the background of your mind. The feeling that everything depends on you, your choices, your successes, your mistakes, even your future. From the moment the day begins, the mind starts moving, planning, calculating, adjusting. If I do this, maybe things will work out. If I avoid that, maybe suffering can be prevented. And beneath all these movements lies a silent belief, a belief so deep we rarely question it. The belief that you are the one running your life, that you are the one making everything happen. But strangely, no matter how carefully you plan, life keeps surprising you. Events appear from nowhere. Opportunities arise unexpectedly. Difficulties arrive uninvited. And sometimes, despite all your effort, things simply unfold in ways you never intended. This creates a quiet tension inside the human heart, a tension between control and reality, between the feeling that you should be directing everything and the mysterious way life actually unfolds. And here lies a paradox that many spiritual traditions have pointed to. The more strongly we believe we are the ones controlling life, the more anxious we become, because deep down, something in us knows the truth. Life is far too vast, far too intricate to be managed by the small mind we call me. More than a century ago, an Indian spiritual teacher named Bhausaheb Maharaj spoke about this illusion with remarkable clarity in his teachings on Nama Yoga. According to him, one of the deepest misunderstandings of human life is the belief that we are the doers of our actions. We believe that our will is the force that moves life. But Maharaj pointed to something far more mysterious. He said that the individual lives under a powerful illusion, the illusion that I act, I decide, I control. Yet in truth, something else is moving everything. He expressed it simply: God is the true executor, not in a distant, abstract sense, but in the most immediate and intimate way. The breath that enters your lungs, the thoughts that arise in the mind, the circumstances that shape your path, all of it unfolds within a deeper intelligence. And when this is forgotten, a strange thing happens. The individual begins to carry a burden that was never meant to be carried, the burden of being the doer. In the language of the ancient teachings, the individual self is called Jiva. But Maharaj reminds us of something profound. The Jiva comes from Shiva, the divine, and eventually it returns to that same source. But during its time in the world, something curious occurs. Under the spell of sensory experiences, the individual forgets its origin. The mind becomes fascinated by objects, ambitions, identities, achievements. Slowly, almost unnoticed, a new identity is formed. I am this person. I am this body. I am the one responsible for everything that happens. And from this identity, the entire drama of anxiety begins. Because once you believe you are the one holding life together, every uncertainty becomes frightening. Every failure becomes personal. Every loss becomes a wound to the self. Yet Maharaj points out something subtle. The problem is not life itself. The problem is the mistaken identity we carry within it. When the individual forgets its divine source, it lives in a strange state of confusion. not fully at peace with worldly life, not fully established in spiritual understanding. The ego becomes reinforced, rigid, defensive, and in this state, even moments of happiness feel fragile, because the mind knows it cannot control everything. So what is the way out of this illusion? Maharaj gives an answer that is both simple and profound. The individual has only one true duty: to remember God, to carry that remembrance quietly within the heart, to feel that behind every event, every movement of life, there is a deeper presence unfolding everything. This remembrance slowly transforms the center of our awareness. Instead of believing that life moves because of us, we begin to sense that life moves through us. Actions still happen, decisions are made, responsibilities are fulfilled, but the inner attitude changes. You perform your duties with care and intelligence, yet inwardly, you know that the final movement belongs to something greater. Maharaj describes this attitude as true surrender. It does not mean passivity. It does not mean abandoning action. In fact, he encourages us to perform our duties with skill, diligence, and calmness. But at the same time, we hold a deeper understanding in the heart. God is the real doer, and slowly, this understanding begins to change the way we live. When difficulties arise, as they inevitably do in human life, the mind no longer collapses under their weight. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" a different attitude appears. This too is part of the divine unfolding. Something unexpected happens in that moment. The mind begins to relax. Life may still be uncertain. Circumstances may not immediately change, but the weight of trying to control everything slowly starts to fade, and this simple remembrance becomes a quiet inner practice. In moments of success, in moments of confusion, in moments of joy and loss, again and again, the seeker gently remembers. A quiet recognition appears in the heart. Life is moving through a deeper will, a movement far greater than the small sense of me. Over time, this remembrance penetrates deeper into the heart. Meditation becomes an important part of this transformation, but Maharaj emphasizes that meditation should not be mechanical. It should be filled with devotion, with sincerity, with love. When the mind turns toward the divine again and again, something begins to take root inside. A quiet conviction, a subtle certainty, the feeling that your life is not separate from the divine source. And when this conviction deepens, the old identity slowly loosens. The tight sense of "I am the doer" begins to dissolve. This does not happen all at once. The mind has lived under this illusion for many years, so naturally, it continues to return. Sometimes you will again feel the urge to control everything. Sometimes the ego will try to reclaim its position as the center of life. This is natural. Even the sincere seeker experiences these moments. But each time the remembrance returns, the illusion weakens a little more. Gradually, something beautiful begins to unfold. The same life continues. You still work. You still speak. You still make decisions. But inwardly, there is a quiet spaciousness. You no longer feel like the small individual struggling to push life forward. Instead, you feel like a participant in a much larger movement. like a wave carried by the ocean. And in that understanding, something remarkable happens. A quiet peace begins to appear. Life continues to unfold in its mysterious ways, yet the mind no longer feels the need to control every movement. The burden of ownership simply begins to fall away. Maharaj says that when the devotee finally realizes this truth deeply, an extraordinary shift occurs. The sense of being the doer disappears. Actions continue, but the ego that claimed them fades into the background. The individual recognizes its unity with the divine source, and in that recognition, something ancient is rediscovered. The original nature of the self begins to reveal itself, limitless, formless, and free. This is what the great traditions call liberation, not as a distant promise somewhere beyond life, but as a quiet transformation of understanding that happens here and now. The recognition that the life you once believed you were controlling was always being carried by something infinitely greater. And perhaps the invitation of these teachings is very simple. Continue living your life, fulfill your responsibilities, act with sincerity and intelligence, but gently release the illusion that everything depends on you. Allow life to unfold through the deeper intelligence that sustains it, and remember, again and again, the quiet truth that Bhausaheb Maharaj pointed to. Every movement of life unfolds through the will of the divine, and slowly a question begins to arise within. If the ocean is already moving the waves, who exactly is the one trying to control the tide?